Pursuant to the New Jersey New Jersey Meeting Act 10-4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office, the schools, and on Cablevision, Channel 118, and Verizon Fios 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. This meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, October 15, 2024. The Board will take formal action on payment of bills and other agenda items. Mr. Wydell?
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that the act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered the private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Thank you, Mr. Wydell. Roll call.
D'Antuno.
Present.
Giordano.
Here.
Jodry.
Present.
Francisco. Lent.
Present.
Marqueta.
Here.
Mazzone.
Here.
Slade.
Here.
And Solokowski.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everybody please rise for the pledge? Thank you. Okay, next week we'll have a moment of silence, code of ethics. Would anybody volunteer to read that for next week?
I can do it.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. Report of student representative. He'll be here next week. Recognition, we don't have any. Oh, we do have one next week. Superintendent's report. Are we going to have one? Okay. Would you like to say anything tonight, or no?
At this point, I'm leaving it to your leadership.
Okay. Progress toward goals. Any correspondence?
Yes, one correspondence.
Go ahead.
This was actually missed during last month's meeting, so I did talk to the individual, and she accepted my apology. This is from Miss Kimberly Mascarello. Subject is Keep Mr. Cedeno. Dear members of the Board of Education, for those of you that don't know me, I am Kimberly Mascarello, a 22-year employee of Old Bridge and parent of 2 children at Old Bridge High School. I have worked with Mr. Cedeno for many years, and he has been the best superintendent I have worked for. He is always very present in the building to visit his employees as well as students. When I invite him to events, he has always shown up for them, and as a busy person that actually says a lot and is very noticed and appreciated by myself and the students to come and see the long and hard work that we have put into our performances. He has always been very comfortable to go to He has always been very comfortable to go to when I have ever had questions or concerns, whether it has been an employee or parent. I believe it would be a great disservice to this district to let Mr. Cedeno go and even have someone else be considered for the position. The amount of hard work and effort he puts into these schools and this town is incredible and should not go unnoticed. What he has done for our district over his course of employment as principal and superintendent has been amazing, and he should be allowed to continue doing the work that he has started. Please keep Mr. Cedeno where he belongs, in his one love, one Old Bridge. Sincerely, Kimberly Mascarello. That concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell. Any special committee reports? I don't know.
Well, I figured they would be next meeting,
next
but we
week.
have the food service meeting on Thursday at 7 and the Care and DEI meeting on the 30th at 6:30.
We'll have curriculum too, unless you want me to do it now.
Great.
And you'll have special services.
Okay, hearing of residents on any agenda items, only on agenda items. I see no hands. We have nothing under policy. Curriculum, professional development. We have one action item.
Giordano make the motion.
Lent will second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Marqueta.
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco, Lent,
Yes.
Solakowski.
Yes.
Resolution 1 for curriculum and professional development passes.
Any questions on 2, 3, and 4? No? Okay, finance. We have one action item, and 2 through 11,
Giordano make the motion for 1.
Lent will second.
any discussion? Okay, we're voting on number 1.
Okay. Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Solakowski.
Yes.
Resolution 1 for finance passes.
Any discussion on 2 through 11? Athletics. Any discussion? Okay. Non-certified personnel, we have one action item. Can I get somebody to move it?
Mazzone will move it.
Can I get a
D'Antuno will
se-
second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Solakowski. Resolution 1 for non-certificated personnel office passes.
Any discussion on number 2? There's nothing there, so. Non-certified personnel operational, we have 3 action items. Can I
Mazzone will
get,
move it.
can I get a
motion it.
second?
Francisco will second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Solakowski. Resolution 1 through 3 for non-certificated personnel operational passes.
Non-certified personnel other, we have 6 action items. Can
D'Antuno will move.
can I get a second?
Mazzone will second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
Solakowski.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 6 for non-certificated personnel other passes.
Okay, any discussion on number 7 and 8? And 9? None? Okay. Certified personnel, we have action items 1 through 4. Can I get
Mazzone
a
will
motion?
motion.
Can I get a second?
Jodry will second.
We are going to administratively remove number 4, so it's going to be 1 through 3.
1 through 3, okay.
So Mazzone was the motion, and second was Jodry. So
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Solakowski.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 3 for certificated personnel passes.
Okay, any discussion on 5 through 16? Okay. Non-certified personnel transportation, we have 2 action items, 1 and 2. Can I get a motion to move 1 and 2?
Lent will move it.
Any second?
Mazzone will second.
Good. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Solakowski.
Yes.
Resolution 1 and 2 for non-certificated personnel transportation passes.
Thank you, Mr. Waddell. We just did. Yeah, I know. Okay, transportation, we have 2 action items. I'm sorry, 1. Can I get a motion to move it?
Lent will move it.
Can I get a second?
Francisco will second.
Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
D'Antuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Lent,
Yes.
Solakowski. Resolution 1 for transportation passes.
Any discussion on 2? No? Supplies, equipment, and services, we have 2 action items, 1 and 2. Can I get a motion to move 1 and 2, please?
D'Antuno will move.
Can I get a second? Okay. Any discussion?
Yes. So before the meeting, I asked Mr. Wydell to get me a copy of the proposal for Resolution 1. They were the same people that proposed the Lombardi change, so I'd like to take a deeper look at it because I don't really trust their process. And for number 2, I looked up Allied Universal and the services they provide, and it's not necessary for an event such as a football game, especially when we just approved to pay our other security guards $26, $27 an hour. So, thank you, that's it.
I disagree. I think that is quite important considering what's been going on at the football games. So I think that it's needed. I think that it's something that should be approved, and that's it. Thank you.
I also have to agree with Lenny on this one. I do think that it's important for the children to be safe. It's unfortunate that we have to take these measures, but, I mean, we can't control the actions of, you know, kids coming there, and I'm not saying from our district, just from outside district, you know, starting fights or with that, whatever. So, yeah, I have to agree with Lenny on this one. I agree with having to do this.
Anyone else?
I had a question. Is that in addition to the hired police officers? Callie? Okay.
Yeah, so in this matter, we met with the police chief and the lead SRO. For these events, it's becoming challenging, one, to, you know, have the event, and what I'm getting from the police department too, it's even more challenging what happens outside after the event for the police department. They become taxed by our students, our people who are coming to the event, and then they go out to other local businesses and cause distractions there and disruptions there in their parking lots and their places of business. And so we are increasing our police staff at their request because they want to make sure that they have enough people to respond in case of emergency. Our own, you know, staff that does site security, whether that could be classroom teachers and paraprofessionals, many of them are withdrawing their desire to do the function because it has become, you know, more headache than value for them. So this is in addition to our policing staff, and in some areas where we can't get our own personal staff to do it, this will supplement this as well. Now keep in mind, this is the Pink Out, which is our largest event, and we get a large crowd for this, even though we are cutting off the crowd limit in cooperation with the recommendations of the fire marshal. So those are some of the things we've had to do, and looking at this, and, you know, if parents are listening and students listen, just, you know, we are walking a very fine line to having to make very serious changes to what you've come to expect at football games. And it's not just the district having to follow this, it's law enforcement, everyone looking at making serious changes. And I'm not saying it's just here in Old Bridge. I talk to superintendents across the county, across the state. It's the same thing. The Friday night mall has been replaced by the Friday night football game. Parents are not dropping their kids off at the mall anymore where they were causing disruption there. They're dropping them off here, and whatever we put in place, whether you have to come with an adult, it's just not all working. And then you get social media problems where, you know, some TikTok cowboy says you come into an event and asks everyone to come there, and then you're trying to use local resources to keep everyone safe, and it's very unfortunate because it's not what our football games are supposed to be. It's supposed to be a community-based event where everybody can come out and root for our student athletes and have a good time, but apparently it's gotten away from that. So we have to do our best to keep this environment safe and keep it cordial to everyone who comes there, so everyone can feel safe bringing their children there, young children, seniors, grandparents come there to watch their grandchildren play, and everyone should feel welcome that they're going to be safe. And if we can't maintain that, from everyone from the township and the local law enforcement and myself agree, then there's going to have to be changes. So whether that's going to fall on the students, the parents, everyone to get together to make sure that we're all on the same page come Friday night, because it may not be Friday nights anymore.
Thank you.
One more thing, I'm sorry. Can you just explain the structural repairs that are being done to the bridge?
Sure. So this was in regards to in cleaning the bridge, we noticed that there was some electrical conduit underneath the bridge that essentially runs piping and wiring from main campus to GNC. So that had fallen, and we were looking for a quote to adhere that back to underneath the bridge. But in doing so, there was just some deterioration where steel looked like it was cracked, or there were some holes in steel in some spots. So we could not successfully or securely fasten the conduit back up to the bridge. So at that point, it was recommended, and we brought our architect in, along with a structural engineer, to look at the damage that's been done. Based on their initial just vision of it, they advised us to close the bridge as it has been closed. And now we have a proposal from them to go through the bottom steel and try to secure it and make some repairs. So everything from the top up, or I guess the midway, the walking path above is secure and sound. Obviously just the underneath, which is, what secures the bridge, unfortunately, that we're going to make some repairs to. So we're not looking at a full replacement. We're just looking to strengthen the steel underneath.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. Back to Resolution 2. Allied Universal is a private company, and it's 6 people for $65 an hour. So we should be hiring our own people, our own police officers, because that's where our taxes are going. So there's no reason why we should be paying a private company which is focused on profit rather than township or other towns' policemen that are paid for by taxes and serve in the interest of the public. So don't let people think that this is that I'm against safety. I'm against giving money to a private corporation instead of police officers that we already pay for.
The only issue with that is we actually sat down, me and Elena and Matt at personnel, and we spoke to actually Dr. Holker, Mr. Wydell, and Mr. Cittadino, and the problem is that a lot of our own police officers, I don't want to say don't want to do it, but they don't want to do it, and not because of pay, not because of any other reason, but if we take all of our patrol and put it on a football game, God forbid something happens down at the Wendy's, down at the Burger King, there's no one else, there's no manpower to subsidize out in the district. So this was really kind of the only other answer. This is not coming out of any budget. This is actually, they're being paid from the ticket sales. So it's not hitting our budget or costing the district anything.
Anyone else? So what we're doing is we're separating 1 and 2 for voting purposes. So we're going to vote on number 1.
No, they're both together.
Put them together?
Both together, yep.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Wydell?
Motion by Dantuno, second was by Jodry. Lent,
Yes.
Marqueta,
Yes.
Mazzone,
Yes.
Slade,
Yes.
Dantuno,
Yes.
Giordano,
No.
Jodry,
Yes.
Francisco,
Yes.
Solokowski.
Yes.
Resolution
Thank you.
1 and 2 for supplies, equipment, and services passes.
Any discussion on number 3? I see no hands. Miscellaneous, 1 through 8. 1 through 8. Can I get a motion to move 1 through 8? Okay. Discussion. I see no hands. Board Secretary and Board Business.
No business to report.
Okay. Hearing of residents on any school district issues. I see no hands. Any old business? Go ahead.
Please just sign in the binder when you get a chance. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Kiran Venkatesan. I just want to acknowledge the fact that last week we had the Transportation Committee meeting, and thanks to the board and the school administration to bring a lot of insight. Marjorie was telling me, I could be one of the drivers. I know that's for a joke, but with all seriousness, right, I think people don't get this kind of a visibility. I don't remember the director of transportation, I don't remember her name, but I really thank her for giving us all the information. And this was the one of the highest years where there was no issues in a school opening, right? So these are all good information, and I would like us to see how we can disseminate this more into the parents and the students, so they really understand, the value that, some of them, in the back, really working very hard. And looking forward for the food committee meeting this Thursday, where we really want to, look at how we can introduce some vegetarian options and others, which, Vital, you mentioned about. Just want to mention about these two things. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any new business?
Mr. Solikowski, I'll just respond to the
Go ahead.
comments that were made. He was speaking in reference to Mrs. Unglert, Debbie Unglert. She's the new director. She's been, in January, will be a full year for her. And just her and her leadership with the team, the transportation team, as everyone could tell, that it's been a very smooth opening. A lot of the issues that we had last year, or we had even special meetings for late buses and shortages of drivers, has really been addressed and rectified, and it's not without any to do with the hard work of their staff, her and Mary, our leadership team there, as well as running the transportation department. They're often taking phone calls, but sometimes they have to go drive the buses themselves because there's just lack of drivers from contracted services that might not be able to cover a run, and they have to cover the run themselves. So they've been doing a tremendous job, and thank you for identifying that meeting and how much good information came out, because a lot of people just think that we can just take anyone and make them a bus driver, and as you found out that night, it's not that easy. It's actually quite difficult to become a school bus driver. I'm not sure why most people would want to even do that job, because it is a very tough job. If you drive a minivan with 4 kids in it, imagine driving a school bus with 55 kids in it, and how difficult that can be. And our drivers today, school bus drivers today, not only have to know how to drive the bus, but they have to know components of the engine as part of their test. So I've been driving my vehicles most of my life, and I've never had anyone ask me, what the brake pump does and where it is, and point to it and how it stops the car, and how that anything else, any other components are on the inside of the engine. But that's what a school bus driver has to do to pass the test, and it's become increasingly difficult to get drivers for that purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? From the public, from the board,
I have
from
a new
administration? Go
business
ahead.
report. Okay, 2 things. One, a comment was made at a meeting that we're privy to special information about Mr. Cetadino and judging for his renewal. You guys know pretty much as much as we do. There's no secret file box of documents about Mr. Cetadino and his administration and how he works. So I just wanted to correct that. I am going to get on a little bit of a soapbox, so I apologize in advance. There's been social media posts going, it's election season, and I hate the word sides because we're the school board, but it's on both sides. And they're character assassinations that could threaten some of the candidates' professional lives or their family lives, and many of these candidates have children. Like, as Old Bridge, we could do better. Like, there's no paycheck in the shop. The 9 of us are up here to work together, not for, to become the next governor. We're here to protect the children of the district. Our kids aren't getting any extra credit on tests. Like, there's nothing in this for us other than the pride of protecting the children in this district and making sure they have the best education. So I'm just asking Old Bridge to do better. Election day is like 21 days away. Go on the points and the values. Lay off the character assassinations. Let's not threaten someone's family or someone's professional life with some of these accusations that are false. So that's my soapbox. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well put. Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There is something the public doesn't know, and I'm not going to mention it, but I'll mention it if we have executive session tonight. But there are some things that I'm concerned about that the public does not know. And I'm going to make sure, for the interest of township safety, I'll be emailing the township council to see if we could do anything about increasing the number of police officers in the district, because we don't have enough to service the town. So I'll be sending that email, and I'll update you at the next meeting in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Giordano. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to be going into closed executive session. And I thank everyone for coming in tonight, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's no meeting next week.
There's no meeting next week.
The
We're going to
Georgia
be in
School Board
Atlantic City.
Association
Right.
Convention.
Again, thank you for coming.
Motion by
I need a
Oland.
motion to go into executive
Okay.
closed session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, executive session.
This was one of the quickest meetings.